Alrighty, so I made this house in this home design game that I have. It's a house. It's the of the old house I grew up in. My mom's old house that I used to live in for a lot of my life. It was from 2008 to 2015, which doesn't sound like a long time, but it was for most of my life. It was like from when I was 3 to when I was 10, but it felt like most of my childhood. And then we moved around in several other places. But this is the house I remember most and just had most memories in. And I made it on how it was on home design. So, I made the yard and the house. And sorry, you might hear my dog just breathing and stuff next to me. But it's not 100% accurate. Just because like the front walkway is not 100% accurate, but I'll show you a picture of what the front actually looked like in a separate, in the same video, but I'll put up a picture sometime in the video at the very end to show you. But another thing that's not completely accurate is the backyard. Like at the very back where that fence is, there was actually like mulch that we had, and there's like a swing set and a trampoline back there, but I didn't have room to add that. You can see that red line is like a border right there that I can't go past, like it won't let me go past. So I built the yard a little big, so I kind of ran out of space for the limit of where I could build stuff in this thing. But yeah, anyway, and you can see there's sprinklers. That's what those dots are. We had 10 zones in this house, and it was kind of, we did end up rewiring the zones, and but zone 1, 2, 5, and 7 were in the front. Zone 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10 were in the back, and then zone 3 was in the side yard. But then we eventually rewired it to where it went zone 1, 2, 3, 4 was in the front, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 was in the back, and then 10 was in the side yard. But anyway, I'm going to show you this house and how it is. So I'm gonna go to the front. Oops. And bear with me, this thing will make you walk through walls, so when I'm going up and down the stairs, it won't look completely perfect. But one thing I want to mention about this front area, all this patio right here was like steps that gradually went up, and then right here was the porch, but I couldn't do that. But anyway, here is where you walk in, and this was like the front, the foyer. And one thing I do want to mention is this wall right here was more like over here, but I couldn't really add it perfect. There's an outlet there, and then there's also a vent there. That's what that gray rectangle thing is, and then there was a vent there too. I added all those little details. This room right here was the front office. Around Christmas we'd have the Christmas tree like right here by this window. And there was a vent there, but there's a computer here, and then that white rectangle, that was a circulation vent. This house had 11 smoke alarms. It was a pretty big house. We had 5 smoke alarms in the basement, 1 on the main floor, which is what I'm on right now, and then 5 upstairs. So this is the front foyer where you have stairs that go up, and then you have right here stairs that go down to the basement, and then you go here. This was the living room, and we had a fireplace here, and then you can see the lights, which I color coded them. And this right here was the thermostat, and that was the doorbell alarm, and we had one in the basement too, a doorbell alarm. You go this way, and then this was like a little desk here with a computer. This was the dining room. Over here was the door to the backyard, which I do have a video that I went this way that I made about the zones the sprinklers on, and I went down these steps here, and my dog's whining because she wants me to pet her. Sorry. Anyways, then I had a video of that sprinkler on and all these ones over here, and then there was one there was one over here, like right there in that corner, but in the video it was right here in the grass because we did eventually move it. I'm just gonna let my dog outside. She needs to go to the bathroom. Anyway, and then I don't know if you saw, but right here there was like a door, and I never went in this room, but underneath the deck there was like a storage where the lawnmower was. That's what this is. And then anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna go back and show you the inside of the house. And yeah, so here was the deck, and that was the dining room, and then over here we had like some bar stools for the counter, and then right here was the pantry, and then this was the kitchen. This, right at the end of the counter, there was like an outlet, and I always thought that looked cool. There was a vent by the sink, there was a window here, and the stove and the microwave, and then there is the fridge. And then you go over here, and this is where the laundry room was. This was the time when we had that Whirlpool Cabrio that I grew up with. It was one of my favorite washers. A lot of people don't like that washing machine, but we had one for about 8 years. It lasted a long time compared to what other people have had, and it was a good washer. But this is the washer and dryer and the window there, and then there's like a closet here, and there's also a closet right here for like shoes and stuff. And then right here was a half bathroom, and then over here this door led to the garage, which we had like a couple cars over here. And then you go down these stairs, and then there was like we had a garage door there, and then a garage door over here. I didn't add it, but in this like right here area was like shelves, so it kind of separated. And then there's a car here, and we had shelves here, and then right here is where the sprinkler timer was. And then I never added it also, but we had like a freezer here. And then this door led to the backyard also, and there was like a dryer vent right here, which is that square thing. And then we also had a vent here by the deck, and that was a bathroom fan vent for the basement bathroom, which I'll get to. Anyway, but yeah, and then going back in the house, there's the kitchen. Lexi's barking, sorry about that. She wants to come in. I'll let her in. But anyway, I'll show you the basement. Come on, Lexi. Anyway, here's the basement. You go down the stairs, and I just went outside to the walls. You had this little area here that was like where the stairs are. We had Legos over here, and there's decorations. Then you walk in the basement. There was like a pool table here. And then there's this little room here. There's like for storage where we stored the Christmas tree in the summertime, and it was always cold in here. And then over here was the TV and the couch. We had a family room down here, and there's some windows here. And then these were vents. The vents were on the ceiling in the basement. And then there's a circulation vent here. And then that was the other doorbell alarm. We had one in the basement and one on the main floor. Those circles on the ceiling are smoke detectors, so we had a smoke detector there. We also had one in this room that I never showed. We had one there. But anyway. And then also in this room, this was like where the utility room was. This is where the furnace and stuff was. We had one in here. And then over here was a hallway, and then this was the bathroom for the basement. This is the one with that fan that went outside. And had a sink, toilet, and shower. And a vent there. And then this door also led to the utility room. It was kind of long, and then went around here. It was kind of interesting shape. And then there's like an L. And then over here, the hallway got wider, and there was shelves on each side. And then there was another smoke alarm. Where was it? There it is. And then this very end of the hall was a room which we had a square window, or it wasn't a window, it was like a square like cut out in the wall. And then there was this room here that had a little fireplace in it. And there's also a smoke alarm in here, right there. And then, yeah, so there's a window there. You can see the patio in the backyard. But yeah, this was like the guest bedroom. And then you go back out the hallway, and then keep going the hallway, and then over here to the stairs. And it's kind of hard to go up these stairs correctly. Here is the foyer again. In the main floor, we had a smoke alarm there. That was the only one on the main floor. And then you go to the upstairs, and we all had like a little circle window there, which I always thought was cool. And then, all right, now I'm upstairs. Now, one thing that's not accurate is that right here in the stairs, all this was a balcony, so you could see the main floor from there. And there was a chandelier that would hang, but I couldn't add that in the app, so I just added a window there that was actually like right here above the foyer. So that's one thing that wasn't accurate. There's like you could see the main floor there and the front door from here, and so that's one thing I kind of want to get accurate, but I couldn't. So up on the second floor, this was my sister's bedroom, and at the time I had two stepsisters, so it actually changed. This was my stepsister's bedroom, but before they moved in, it was just my sister's bedroom. Then it eventually being my older stepsister's bedroom. And then there was a Lexi. My dog is just so whiny. She wants me to pet her. There's a closet here, and then over here was the master bedroom. And this was... Oh, and then, hold on. There was a smoke detector in this room, and then there was a smoke detector in the hallway here, and then there's a smoke detector in this bedroom. And this was the master bedroom, and there was a circulation vent there, and there was a closet here, which had a vent in there, which I always thought was interesting. And I remember that vent had like a lot of junk in it for some reason, because the people that lived in this house before us, like, I don't know, they for some reason threw trash in the vents, which is never good. Because I remember this vent here also had a bunch of trash in it, which is weird. But anyway, and I remember one memory I had at like 4 in the morning, because I remember the sprinklers would come on at 3:35 a.m. and each zone would go for the sprinklers I remember coming on at 3 a.m. and each zone would run for 35 minutes, every single one, and we had 10 of them. And I remember one time it was like 4 or 5 in the morning, I saw zone 4 on through this window here. I went to my mom's room to ask her something, and I saw zone 4 on, which are those sprinklers against that fence, those blue ones. There's one in that corner. There's basically 4 of them. And that originally changed to zone 5 when we rewired them, but at the time it was zone 4. And I remember seeing those on, which was a good memory. And then I went back to sleep. But they originally, I think, started at 3 a.m. and got done at like 8-something a.m. or maybe 9 a.m. I can't remember. But I would never see them. I was like really little at the time. But anyway, then over here was the master bathroom, which there was like a jetted tub here. It wasn't really that skinny, but the sizing and the house isn't perfect. It's not exact of how it was, but there's a jetted tub there, 2 sinks, a shower, and then in this door here, that's where the toilet was. So then there's like its own little room, which had a bathroom fan vent, and I think it had a vent, but I don't know if I ever added it. And then out here, then you have I think there's another closet here, just a small one. And then you have the hallway, which, like I said, there's a smoke alarm there. And then there was a closet here for the hallway with like medicine, a circulation vent there. And I always thought it was funny because there was like a little tiny circulation vent here right by this area. And then there's a bedroom here with a smoke alarm. That one was, before my stepsisters moved in, that one was my mom's office. And then when they moved in, it was my sister's room and my younger stepsister's room. So this was their room. And then there was a closet here, and then there's those beds, and then there was a vent here and a window there. And then over here, was the bathroom. This was the bathroom here, and the tub, which is also a shower, a toilet, and then a sink, and then there's a vent there. And then this room right here was my room. So one thing that's not accurate is that, like, in this, where this window is, there was like a ledge, so it kind of stuck out a little bit, so you kind of sit there on the windowsill. And it had its own little light there, but I couldn't really add that. There was a vent there, and then there was a smoke alarm by the door. And yeah, this is my room, and then the closet was right here. So that's pretty much it for the house. And now I'll show you the yard and the sprinklers. And but yeah, remember, like, I always thought it was cool there's a circulation vent there and long one there. And I remember some of the vents sounded kind of creepy sounding. Like the circulation vent had a weird sound to it when it was on. Anyways, I'm gonna go downstairs and show you the and there's that chandelier, but like I said, it would hang from above because there's like a balcony. But I'm gonna show you the yard. Now these stairs kind of gradually went down. There's a flower bed here, and this area was like wood chips, but it was never watered. It was there was no sprinklers in there. So I'm gonna show you the sprinklers and all of that in the yard. This was the front yard. We had a front strip here, and like where this ends, there was like a road here. So it's not just grass, it's like a road all here, but I couldn't add it. And so these black ringed sprinklers here, like that sprinkler there, that was zone 1. This one was zone 1. This one was zone 1. Zone 1 had 10 of these pop-ups, and they would be on this side of the sidewalk, and they'd spray halfway in the road, which was weird. Usually sprinklers are on the other side on the strip where the road is, and then spray this way, but these ones were on the opposite side. But there was 6 of these pop-ups on the front strip that were part of zone 1. And then there's one here, and then zone 1 also got the front yard over here. There was one here, and basically those dots in the middle, like the yellow and the orange. The outer ring is the black outer ring means it's zone 1, and then the circle part, like the center part, like the yellow dot means it's a 90 degrees. The orange dot means it's a 180, and then you'll see some blue dots in the middle, like which are 360s. That's what that one is. But anyway, the black part is zone 1. So there's one here, one here, one here, and then there was one more over here, kind of by the fence. Now the fence wasn't added when the sprinkler system was installed, so they're not exactly in the corners. Like, for example, this one here on the other side of the fence originally was a 360, but it changed to a 180 just because the fence was here and it's part of this zone here. Anyway, zone 1 was all that and over by the road. And then zone 2 was these green ones here that have the blue center. There was one here that had 10 sprinklers, 10 pop-ups. There was one here by the sidewalk. There's one here in the middle, and then there was one here in the middle, one here by the sidewalk, one right here by the sidewalk, one here in the middle, and then there was one here that did a half, and then there's one here in the corner. Zone 3 was over here. Now, originally, when we rewired it, we changed this to zone 10, but originally this was zone 3. It had 10 sprinklers also. There was one here that did a 90, one here that did a 180, one here that did a 90 by the neighbor's yard, and then there was a garden here, and then there was one here that did like a 90, one here that did a 180, and there was one here that did like a 90. And then there was one here that did a 180. And then there was the garden here. And then there was also rocks in it. But then there was this one that was outside of it that did a 180. This one outside of it that did a 180. Part of zone 3. And then in the backyard there was 1, 2 over here that did like a 180, but like I said, the fence wasn't there, so it would originally get over here, but now it doesn't. And then zone 4 is all the way over there. So zone 4 was that one that I saw on through the bedroom window once. This one we eventually changed to zone 5, but most of the time it was zone 4. Let me go over to it. It has 4 maxi-pot sprinklers. Those are like Rainbird sprinklers, like the ones that go like those ones. Those are the ones I grew up with, so those are like my favorite ones. So we had one here, as you can see. This one originally, like, you know, did a 180, but they put the fence in, so it stopped about right there. And this one, I remember, had like a chip on the top. It was broken and it was all bended. A lot of them got hit by the lawnmower because my mom would use the riding mower and she'd always break a sprinkler. And then anyways, but she got better at that. We had a big yard. Then there was one here. Now the blue center is just like the original nozzle that the maxi-pots come with, so I just used them all for that. And then there was one here. I remember this one like shot up in the air once. Like one time it was broken and it was shooting up in the air, but it finally got fixed. And then there was this one over here in the corner. Now, to be realistic, past this one, all around there, up to about there, was like, just all this was like mulch, and there was a swing set and a trampoline. But I couldn't add that, so just the yard is what I have. But anyway, all those 4 sprinklers were zone 4. And then zone 5. Now, the one thing that sucks about this sprinkler system was it went back and forth. That's why we rewired it eventually. But they do that. I don't know why Rainbird sprinkler system designers usually like to make them go back and forth. I think it has to do with like the sunrise and stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, there was a pop-up here on zone 5, and then I'm just gonna walk through the fence. And then there was one here on zone 5 that did the middle of the front yard. Then there was one here that did the middle of the front yard, and then there was one here that did the middle of the front yard. It was just these 4. And then zone 6, oh, and let me just mention something. Zone 5, we eventually changed to zone 3. But anyway, zone 6 was the same. We left that as zone 6. That one I got on video once. That one was the one where the video was titled Zone 6 Running. It was an old video I made. We had one maxi-pot here. This one was a fast one. It would go like really fast. It was originally right here in the garden, but we moved it right here, and that's where it was in the video. We had one here, and then we also had one right over here by the steps over here, by the patio. And then we had one over here by this door. And then we had one over here, kind of by the fence where that pop-up right there on zone 3 was. So zone 6 was also this one here, which I think stopped about right there. And then zone 7 was the front garden. That one had 7 pop-ups. Let me go to that. It's going to take a while. One thing that sucks is I can't move very fast in this game, but I would say it's about walking speed in real life. And the one thing about Zone 7 is also in the backyard too, a little bit, kind of like Zone 5 and Zone 3. And in Zone 7, eventually we did change it to Zone 4. Anyway, this is Zone 7. We had one here that sprayed all this. It was a half. And then we had one like right here by the house that did a half. And then one thing I didn't add, right here in this corner by the fence was an air conditioner. I forgot to add that. We also had a pop-up here on Zone 7 in the garden. And then in that corner over there, we had a pop-up on Zone 7. And then we had one here in the middle on Zone 7. And then we had another one here in the middle on Zone 7. And then we had one here by the steps on Zone 7. Now we did a half. So that was all Zone 7. And then Zone 8 was in the backyard towards the very back, but it wasn't. It was in the middle of the backyard, in the middle back row, and then it's kind of weird. Zone 8 had 4 maxi paws, and it was basically towards the back, but in the middle. It's weird how they did it. This one, when we rewired it, this one was still Zone 8. So we had one here, and then we had one, it's just like a row all the way up to that fence. So we had one right here, as you can see. And then we had one over here, kind of by that tree, which was right over here. Just getting to it. There we go. We had one there, which that one I remember was bended. Oh, and then the one over there by that tree was bended too. There was a lot of bended ones. And then we had one by this fence that did a half. So we had one here. And then Zone 9 was over here. It's weird how it went this way. It just totally went back and forth. The Zone 9 was this one that did a half. This one we originally changed to Zone 7. I did get this one on video also, called Zone 7 running. But originally it was Zone 9. Then there was one here. And then there was one here. I'll get to it. There it is. And then there was one over here that I remember in the video I took, it was spraying really far in a circle. And then there was this one. That was Zone 9. And then Zone 10 was the last zone. That one was at the very back of the yard, kind of by the mulch. That it's not in this, but behind this fence we had mulch and a trampoline and all that stuff. So we had one here that did a half. And this one was Zone 10, which we eventually changed to Zone 9 because Zone 10 was going to be the side yard, but Zone 3 is the side yard. This one's Zone 10, and then there was one here, right here, as you can see. There was another one over here, just getting to it, as you can see, getting to it. And then there was one more in the corner. As you can see, there's that one in the corner, and then after that they turn off. And I always thought it was cool because like every single zone, or almost every single zone, it would lose pressure before it turned off. And then it would turn off and the next zone would turn on. Except Zone 2, when it changed to Zone 3, it would go right down and then Zone 3 would come right back up. I don't know why, but it seemed to always be 2 to 3 would just change right away. And then I remember with Zone 10, it wouldn't even lose pressure, just turn right off. Because it was the last zone, so I always thought that was interesting. But that's about it. And then, yeah, that's the house. And now I will pull up a picture of what it actually looked like from the front in real life. So I'll get that pulled up. Alright, this is the house. This was like the front yard here. And then that was the side yard over here. I remember we had like a drain in front of the driveway here, which I thought was cool. Now obviously the garden wasn't as nice as it did look in the video that I made. You can see there's weeds in there and over there, and then over there was weeds, but that was the front garden there. Like I said, the steps went up. It wasn't just like flat and then went up like by the porch. And I know it doesn't look exact. That window right there above the door was where the front door was. That window there was the foyer, and then that window there was one of the bedrooms. And then that window right there was my bedroom. And then, yeah. I know I couldn't get it exact in the video. Oops. But yeah, then there was the back of the yard. Let me see if I can get a better view of that. Now this picture was taken in 2011. You can see the back of the yard. There's like the trampoline and the swing set. They started building houses behind there. When we bought the house, when my parents bought the house, it was farmland. They wanted to see the sunset. But then they started building houses right after. You can see the front yard here. And I could show you what it looks like now as of October 22. They planted trees and it doesn't look as nice. They got bushes in the front garden there. We did move some of the sprinklers before we moved out into the grass there, so there was no more in the garden. We kept the one in the corner there. And if you look at the satellite view of this, they added a pool and took down one of the trees in the back, so the backyard is very different. But yeah. Oh, and then before we moved out, we also added rocks in the side yard here and kind of in the back too, so that zone was capped. So, but yeah, anyway, that's pretty much the house I grew up in.